Okay, so I want you to picture something. There's this 250-pound monster hiding in the dark, maybe 20 feet from you. Almost every single time you go to the movies. You never see it, you probably have no idea it even exists, but it is the only reason you can understand a word anyone is saying right after a massive explosion.
It creates this completely seamless illusion, doesn't it? We just, we accept that we can hear a pin drop after a grenade goes off.
Exactly.
But physically, that just shouldn't happen without some serious hardware.
And that is what we are digging into today. We're pulling back the silver screen to look at the machinery hiding behind it, specifically the QSC SC-443C.
Which is a massive three-way screen channel loudspeaker. And before you even ask, no, do not buy this for your living room.
Right.
Unless you plan on, reinforcing your foundation first.
Right. The mission here isn't home improvement. It's to understand the extreme engineering required for professional cinema. Because looking at the diagram of this thing, honestly, it looks like a Frankenstein monster.
That's a pretty fair assessment.
It's not one sleek unit. It looks like 3 different boxes just bolted together.
It's absolutely function over form because nobody is ever supposed to see it. It's a stack. The bottom half is all Muscle 2 huge enclosures, the LF4215s.
Okay.
They hold 4 woofers between them. Then, sitting right on top, is the brain of the operation. That's the MH1075 high-frequency system.
But despite being this 257-pound tower, the specs say it's only 20 inches deep. That seems remarkably skinny for something that weighs as much as a person.
That's the real estate problem. In a cinema, these speakers have to live in this really narrow space between the actual wall and the movie screen itself.
And the sound has to pass through the screen.
Exactly. The screen is perforated with these tiny, tiny holes. So if the speaker is too bulky, it just won't fit. QSC had to engineer massive output into a really shallow footprint.
Is that why it's so heavy? 117 kilograms.
That's it. You mentioned heavily braced MDF in the notes. I mean, if you have a light box pumping out 1,600 watts of bass, the box itself is going to vibrate.
And that adds noise, right?
It adds noise, it colors the sound. By making it incredibly heavy and rigid, the box stays completely dead. The only thing moving is the air.
Okay, so we've got the brute force, but I feel like brute force is the easy part. The hard part is making it articulate enough for a whisper. This is where that top unit comes in, I assume.
The MH1075, this is absolutely where the magic happens. It uses a horn-loaded design.
Which sounds super technical, but it's basically just a high-tech megaphone, isn't it?
In a way, yes. It physically shapes and projects the sound so it punches right through that screen without scattering. But the real genius is the frequency range. This one unit handles everything from 250 hertz up to 1800 hertz.
That seems like a very, very specific slice of the audio pie. Why does that matter so much?
This is the critical insight. Most speakers, they split the sound between the woofer and the tweeter right around 2000 hertz.
Okay.
The problem is that's the exact danger zone where the human ear is most sensitive to vocal details. If you split the signal there, it's called a crossover. Voices can sound disjointed, unnatural.
So they've basically engineered a loophole for the human ear.
Precisely. By keeping that entire vocal range, 250 to 1800, inside one single driver, the voice stays whole. That is how they get what they call unmatched intelligibility.
So the actors don't sound like they're talking through a fan.
Exactly.
And since they don't know where everyone is sitting, I see this top box is on a pan and tilt bracket.
Right. It lets the installer physically aim that megaphone down or sideways by about 10 degrees, pointing the dialogue right at the audience.
We have to talk about power, though. The low frequency part is rated for 1,600 watts continuous. That is massive. But I saw a spec for a power limiter on the high-frequency driver. Isn't a limiter just a fancy way of saying it turns the volume down? Doesn't that mess with the director's mix?
It would if it was on all the time, but think of it more like an airbag. It's a protection network. If an action sequence suddenly spikes the volume to a level that would literally melt the tweeter's diaphragm, the limiter clamps down for just an instant to save the hardware. It's better to have a millisecond of compression than a blown speaker and silence for the rest of the movie.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Now, the specs also mention it's selectable by or tri-amplified. To me, that just sounds like extra wiring.
It's more like traffic control. If you just plug one wire in, the speaker has to sort the highs from the lows. Bi-amplified means the theater sends the heavy trucks, the bass down one lane, and the sports cars, the treble down, a separate one.
Okay.
It keeps the signals clean and they don't interfere with each other. It gives you much clearer sound at high volumes.
So what does this invisible workhorse even cost? The list price is around $4,300.
Which, yeah, it feels steep, but you have to remember, this is the physical reality behind the magic of the movies. It's a 257-pound industrial tool that's designed to be completely invisible.
It really changes how you think about it. The next time you're in a theater and the audio's just perfect, just remember, there's this massive, ugly box bolted to the floor, just inches behind the screen, working its heart out so you can hear a whisper.
And that, to me, is way more interesting than magic.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. See you in the next one.